And we're back and ready for game 2 here. Good one, Betty. Good one. There's a camera there as well. You're going to do it to that camera?
I have no idea where that camera was.
I think it's over there.
That's right. I'm impressed. I was like, wow,
left,
he knew where that
actually.
was.
Yeah, he guessed left.
I did guess left, yeah.
One of you guys want to say something?
Hello, welcome back.
No, I thought you were supposed to talk.
Oh, okay.
Let's let him stew in this awkward.
Yeah,
I'm
let's go.
happy. Like, I'm basically a color caster now. I hit Master in EU, which is known as the hardest solo queue region.
Oh.
Based on the tournament's results, it's actually the easiest solo queue region. So
And we have no counter argument.
You think our pros play solo queue? Anyway, we're here for game 2 between AL and BLG, whereas BLG managed to pick up an early lead in game 1, but anyone's legend fought back valiantly through the team fights.
in a bit of a surprising way, to me at least, too, because I do kind of think of AL as the team that does play the map better, that is generally better with their lane assignments, their objective setups, but I felt like BLG really did earn their advantage through map play, through macro play. You know, actually the lane swap there from Bin down towards bot side at a time that AL either couldn't or wouldn't match it really did earn him a massive CS advantage that put them in a spot where I thought they were heavily favored for that game. But it all came down to team fights, Tarzan hitting critical smite after critical smite, the Baron, the soul denial, those were massive. And AL really executed so well in these team fights.
No Tabe, no win. Of course, Tabe, previous coach of BLG. After leaving BLG, not long after, he did make his way over to AL, and since joining AL alongside Tarzan, this organization has found nothing but success. We're jumping into draft, our second one of the day, powered by Omen and HyperX, and the Pantheon for Poppy trade. The Galio likely going to be the Rumble trade on the other side, coming through from AL. Oh, the Vi, going to be the first to ban. You expect the Rumble to be banned away unless Flandre has something prepared for us as a response into it. And then the question is, where does Varus fall on the chain? If you perhaps there's a world where you're willing to give Bin the Rumble in exchange to get yourself the Varus. We know that so far in this tournament, AL have really prioritized taking that Varus away. But now they have to make a choice. Do they want to give away that Rumble, or do they want to remove the Varus?
Those are their two main options here. As you say, could ban something else out and give up either the Rumble or the Varus over to BLG, depending on where their priorities lie.
Yeah, exactly. You can either just bin either and trade, right?
Yeah,
and trading OPs, I think, can be quite effective there. So Varus is going to be banned out. We'll see if it is going to be the bin Rumble. Getting a slam down here as that first pick. It is his most played so far this split. But it is interesting because even though he plays it all the time, there kind of is this stigma around him and his Rumble. It's not his favorite champion to play. It is not one that people really associate with him, being as dominant on.
Instead, it's going to be Ralph on his most played this split.
So interesting to actually see that as a first pick with Alistar still up and available as an easy answer. Something that I do think Kyle would be happy to play on the other side. But high priority on that Rel. Feels like we might be setting up for something like a Rel MF. It is something that I do think is quite popular in the LPL, that they play well around. And I do feel like it is the best support pairing for that MF, so it's kind of leading me in that direction.
I love this rise for Shanks, though. 11 games on it, has won 10 of them this split. He is an absolute demon on the Rift with this champion, and it gives you so much mobility around the map with the Realm Warp. Looks like AL are going to add a Lucian for Hope alongside it. Really aggressive early lane. Also, the ability to avoid Rel crashing down is so powerful for your AD carry.
Could also pair the Braum up on the bot side of the map, alternatively to the Alistar. Lucian, we've been seeing a lot more variation in his bot lane partner, as opposed to just the Lucian Nami that we saw for so long. But BLG, now the Rumble's still up, and there's no reason not to go for it. Like, they could slam something like a Rumble Annie if they wanted to. They could also get the Ahri for Knight as a response into the Rise. They could even do Syndra. I think matching your AD carry also makes a ton of sense. We've seen Ezreal be so effective at this tournament. Just the range, the poke that he provides, and the teamfight comp that BLG is rapidly developing. They will forego their jungler for now. But there's that Braum that we were talking about being hovered by AL to mitigate some of the engage coming through from BLG.
Yeah, I like the Braum. Obviously teams up really well with the Lucian with that concussive blows passive. Elcon is Ezreal though, 80% win rate on it this split. Super comfortable on this champion, and his ability just to see the moment to fight, see the moment to go in on the Ezreal. Arcane shifting forward, using that lethal tempo so effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is stellar on the pick, and while they are not electing to go for the MF, they do obviously have that rel to set up for potential equalizers. You know, it is about that wombo combo, get the CC down on these carries, lock them up and burst them down. And clearly AL worried about that potential here. Yone, Rumble, one of the classic solo lane combos here. Knight definitely a strong Yone player as well, and that will be removed.
Aurora is the other pick you need to be cautious of as well. Where you think about Knight and like what we've seen a lot from him and how he effectively uses it, this Aurora could be super effective. Oh, interesting that they're removing some of the safer options that we've typically seen from Flandre as a response to the Rumble to try and make that topside matchup as favorable for Bin as possible.
I do always have a little bit of a concern about the full double AP solo laners though, especially, you know, with Ezreal kind of as your main physical damage. Of course, there are still some good solid physical damage jungle pairings available, but will it be interesting to see if they do want to go for that Rumble Aurora.
I wonder if they'll move away from a possible Sejuani as well with the Yone being banned out. That double melee solo laners really facilitates a Sejuani in the early game. The Skarner banned out by AL as their final ban. Maokai, lots of tanks getting removed in this second phase.
Things like, well, I was going to say Jarvan. I was going to, oh wow, okay. I was about to give a bunch of reasons why I thought Jarvan wouldn't be good here, especially into champions like Ezreal. Into Rumble, you do have good lockdown. And I guess that in terms of your skirmishing and engage power, it could be a pretty effective pick. We'll see how things pan out for Tarzan.
I wonder if it's a bit of a denial here from Beishuan, thinking that, you know, with the equalizer, with the Rumble, that maybe they are a little bit worried about that potential concern. As you said, Aurora, good pairing with Rumble, but I do wonder what jungle they're going to be looking for here as a physical damage option for Tarzan.
He's saying Nocturne maybe?
Yeah.
Nocturne maybe has a little bit too much dive into the Braum.
I mean, it feels like they just want to full send it with this comp, right? So I do have the concerns, though, that, you know, if Rise gets to a good point in the game, like, you are very short range or very upfront damage. If you're not one-shotting this Rise, he is going to clean up the team fight. And you're trying to do this full dive, like kind of like one-punch style comp where you're going in Nocturnal. You know, you turn off the lights. All of a sudden, you have the flanking Aurora not getting spotted because the lights are turned off. You have the equalizer go down. If you do not win the fight with that initial play, it feels so devastating. And Sion is up and available when you're talking about all these tanks getting, you know, banned out. That one was conspicuously absent from the ban list. And Sion, I feel like, has been so effective here at MSI at creating space. And now you're trying to go through the Jarvan, the Sion, this Braum as well. I feel like AL are very well set up to absorb the engage that BLG are drafting for. So I am pretty concerned about what they've cooked up.
I seem to remember a similar comp from T1 yesterday where they had Talia Lucian, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we thought it was low damage.
And exactly, you and I were watching at home and I thought to myself, this composition has too little damage, it's very short range as well, and I look at this comp and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of short range, but what we found was super interesting was that if you kind of treat it as a pick comp, it's actually very quick and effective at just catching a target out, executing them, creating a numbers advantage, and things like Braum do a good job of mitigating some of that engage tool. I wonder if it's going to pan out the same way, though, just like with Ezreal and Aurora, with the amount of mobility and disengage tool they have, the way to get out of those sticky situations. I wonder if Tarzan's going to be able to find those engages.
Non-subscribers will see you in 30 seconds time. It is a big question here, Vedi. Azale, how are you feeling about AL's comp?
I like AL's comp way more.
Yeah.
I actually think it's going to be really hard for BLG to actually be able to reach the carries, knock down the Rise. I feel like Rise is a potential 1v9 pick in a game like this. You know, Shanks has been playing very, very well. He's on the Rise. Rise just naturally gets so tanky. You know, when I'm thinking about these double AP soul lanes, when I'm thinking about the CC that they're going to be relying on, early Merc Treads, Archangels, Roa, Zonias, are you going to be able to actually deal with the Rise through all of these defensive tools, through the locket that is going to be there from Kyle on the Braum, through all of this defensive ability? And especially, I know it's not that popular, especially among the LPL Scions, but things like Titanic, to me, are so good in a game like this. It actually adds a lot more damage for you.
Before we get further into the game, we're going to hand it over to Shox, who's standing by with the Chinese streamer, RP.
Definitely so. Hello, Api. How are you finding the tournament here? You are, of course, a co-streamer from China.
Yeah. Feeling really great, and I think like there's a lot of audience here, and everyone's very hyped and exciting for the games. Oh,
Maybe you have to cast it?
Oh yeah. Well,
You're safe. We're safe.
Okay, we're safe. Nothing happened level 1. Okay.
Can I get your opinion on this matchup? Of course, BLG has not been as good as we remember them internationally, I would say. So what do you think of their drafting game 2?
I want to talk about the game 1 draft first. I think they kind of playing different compared to before. Like they pick Azir, which Knight doesn't really play the champion a lot, right? And they pick Corki, which is definitely a hope champion pool champion. And yeah, and even they lost, I think they still trying different things to win the game. Yeah.
We'll see how they do here. I was just wondering, have you met any other co-streamers here that you like?
Yeah, I see I Will Dominate, and I actually was a big fan of him when, like, 10 years ago, because I don't know if you remember, like 10 years ago or like 8 years ago, he done a trip to Australia, because I was a pro player in OCE server, and he went OCE server, he played the server, tried to climb to Challenger, something like that, and yeah, I watched his YouTube.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We found the only I Will Dominate fan in the building. That's amazing. Thank you, Api.
Yeah, great to hear from RP. Used to play for Peace, I believe, in OCE.
Benton at GG most recently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be an exciting game 2 here. AL looking to move us to match point. BLG obviously trying to avoid that fate here. These teams just so familiar with each other, which I always find very, very interesting. You know, we heard Api talking about the fact that, you know, Knight is not really known as a big Azir guy, but sometimes you have to kind of reach into the bag of tricks, you know, try to subvert expectations when you are playing against a team that has had your number and that knows you so damn well. It's really hard, I think, you know, when you're fighting against a main scrim partner like that, just go to exactly what they are expecting.
Yeah, it definitely can be. It's also, what makes you good and what made you get to the finals is what made you get to the finals as well. So sometimes you can overcook. You can overwork the dough a little bit and it can cause some problems. So I'll be talking about it in game 1 with the Azir pick for BLG.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so interesting, right? Because, oh, Elk getting a little bit aggressive here.
Knight going down onto Hope. On is running Unsealed Spellbook in this game, as is Kyle. So we'll see those summoner spells switching around through the mid game.
Yeah, I did kind of get the impression that Knight wasn't that confident coming into this matchup, you know, because of that interview that we saw, as this looks like it's going to be a fight.
Goes in with the flash shadowing strike. There's the barrier out from Hope, and the Unbreakable will keep him alive for now. Base one, concussive blows, locks him up. Doubles now on Hope. On needs to get away, but the concussive blows will get another stun, and On has no hope of surviving. Tarzan claims the second kill.
The Braum passive providing so much value in that early skirmish. AL ready to challenge BLG right from the get-go, and they secure 2 kills.
Knight going to chase Shanks out here. Flash forward for the weirding, the twofold Hex, not enough to get the kill. Both flashes burnt.
Even with Shank's late flash, they're not actually avoiding any of the damage, still able to survive. Knight really wanted that one as the team was falling behind early. And if you're going to go for a kill like this, you have got to kill Hope instantly, but they couldn't quite get it. Look at this. Kyle immediately jumps in, blocks all of the damage from Elk, and then as soon as the fight does not immediately go the way of BLG, you are cooked. Braum in these early skirmishes dominates you.
And it was ultimately just a fight for the crab. Both junglers were like, I think my bot lane is strong enough to be able to contest you. And it ends up being BLG that pull the trigger, but it does not quite go the way that they want to. Now the swap towards the top side of the map.
I mean, look at the buy from the bot lane.
Oh, it's so good for anyone's legend here as On is able to keep Kyle around. But it's a battle in the jungle once again. It's Tarzan coming on out on top in that battle of the jungle once again. He's having a really good series so far, and I think after it taking him 7 attempts to win a title, now we're starting to see Tarzan really unleashed.
I mean, it's really exciting as a Tarzan fan, as someone who really felt like this guy was the best player in the world to never win a regional title, right? You know, he had not been able to accomplish that. 0 for 6 in regional finals, finally is able to do it. And not only did he do it, he did it with one of the largest exclamation points I've ever seen. His Zed game to close out the finals, I think, had the most impressive mechanical team fight I've ever seen, period, in League of Legends. I thought that was mind-blowing. And I really do feel like sometimes when these players, you know, get that first title, get that first trophy, you can then kind of have the floodgates open and really take over.
Especially doing it against players that have denied you from it in the past. In 23, 24, Bin, Knight on, and Elk were the players that denied Tarzan that first title. Now he's claimed it. We'll see how much his career can accelerate from here, because he's already had an incredibly illustrious one. Only really international success is what could improve it. On and Elk forced away. The pickaxe longsword already for Hope makes it such a difficult trade, as Elk has only got a dagger and that tier.
And it does feel like this year, there's a lot of pressure on these LPL teams. They're coming off of a very disappointing first stand from TES, where HLE was not really challenged whatsoever. The LCK dominated first stand, crushed all comers. Shanks could be in some trouble.
Beishwan looking for mid here. Shanks should be able to sidestep everything. Beishwan, the Realm Warp coming out. He's used the Shroud of Darkness already, so he no longer has a spell shield. And Shanks is going to open up, and Knight goes between worlds. There's the fear, and Shanks is down. Now can Beishwan escape? The answers no, as Tarzan answers with a kill of his own.
Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. As, I mean, I admire the aggression from Shanks, but Beishwan, he played it smart. He committed the fear onto Shanks, knowing that Shanks just had the lower HP pool. Knight, with good target selection with his jungler, looked to lock him down as quickly as possible. Knight also picking up that kill is really valuable in the matchup, especially given that he'd already committed the flash earlier on. But AL doing what we see often here at MSI, swapping this bot lane into mid lane to help contest that mid wave, ready to contest the first grub spawn.
Absolutely, but back to the first standpoint, just the idea I think is that for these LPL teams, they really want to represent their region well, even more so because of the disappointment at first stand. They want to be able to show that they can actually challenge the best LCK teams in the world. AL took Gen G to 5 games, and coming into this tournament, most people I think thought Gen G were going to run away with it, that they were going to dominate. AL proved that was not the case, and I think they are very hungry to have a shot at T1 and to have a potential rematch against Gen G to show we can do more than get close, we can take you down.
I mean, I think BLG will be equally as hungry, losing to T1 in Worlds Finals last year, losing to Gen G at MSI last year. There's a lot of expectation on these rosters. For AL, first time on the international stage, but with a roster that has managed to pick up the wins in the LPL playoffs. For BLG, almost a redemption arc if they can manage to get through to those finals and take home the trophy. TP coming in from AL as they defend the grubs, the culling as well from Hope, forces on away. And those will be the first 3 grubs of the game going over to anyone's legend.
Tarzan, again, out to a really big lead here, but to talk about the BLG side again, Bin has had so much success at MSI. This guy reminded us on stage, 3 straight MSI finals. He is not to be overlooked here. 2022 wins MSI, 2023 second, 2024 second. He is getting there, and he said it. Don't forget. He has been there back to back to back, and he's looking to try to get his team to a 4th straight MSI, which is an insane achievement.
It's very uncommon for Bin not to be in finals.
Yep.
He just finds a way, and I mean, the man has been so talented for so long. I remember casting him back on Suning all those years ago, 2020.
Made finals in his first year.
Yes, he did. The Fiora Pentakill in the finals. He had a good start to the Jax game. He ultimately couldn't close things out in game 1. Now on his Rumble that we've been seeing a lot so far this year, he's built up a bit of a lead in terms of the 1v1 matchup. He's now on the bot side of the map, assisting BLG secure the first dragon of the game. I think that AL is a little too slow to respond to this objective, and even though they'll be in the area, it'll be a difficult steal.
Tarzan trying to get in there. There's the Cataclysm. Paranoia used. Tarzan has to flash away and will flag and drag to safety.
Hang on. So, I mean, they get the teleport out from Knight as well. Are they still fishing for a fight?
On's looking for it. He's going to flash forward onto Tarzan. Shadowing strike onto Shanks as well. There's the equalizer going to chunk out Kyle. Unstoppable onslaught in, though, as Splandre looks to make this fight continue. Realm Warp forward. Beishwan flashes away, but is culled where he stands. He's the bullets from Hope's gun. Shanks flashes in, and Elk is put in prison. 2 more kills to anyone's legend.
AL crushed them in the fight here. Tarzan tried to get in, was late, but then On decides, you know what? I will give you that fight. I will re-engage here. Tarzan goes in, throws down the ult, has to flash out. I think he's trying to buy time for his team to arrive, but when the lights get turned out, his team cannot TP in. So they say, okay, we're going to back out. We're going to see if we can still fish for some sort of a fight, because I have this under Sky. Tarzan incredibly strong. Goes for the re-engage here. The Shattering Strike does not connect onto Tarzan. It does onto Shanks, but no one can follow up. You hear the Sion ulti coming through, On just dies, then Flandra's into the backline, and it is a rout immediately. AL are already running away with game number 2.
I just can't believe Tarzan goes over the wall, ulties, flashes away to safety, and then it's like the cloak, my job here is done.
The perfect engage. Did you see the fight, Benny?
Oh, beautiful. AL off to a monstrous lead now, 11 minutes in, and they find themselves with a 2.4k gold lead. Hope dishing out some serious damage.
You see the advantage that comes from Hope getting that early kill, getting ahead on the bottom side of the map. Already has the Essence Reaver and the Zeal, where Elk is just fumbling for parts. You've got a Hearthbound Access, Sheen, and a Tyr. You are in such a weak position in comparison, 1.5 thousand gold behind.
I mean, these inventories are looking very bleak here, for Elk. Hope is in such a strong point of the game. He's going to have that second item here relatively quick. They're already up 2.5k, and having that gold so isolated on your jungle, on your AD carry, is going to be really, really tough to deal with. And Flandra quietly has just been a brick wall. Bin, yes, he's going to get the push. Yes, he's going to have some advantage in that early stage, but we already have first item done for Flandra. He is going to be shrugging off so much of that, and Sion, we know, has incredible wave clear, is really stalwart in these side lanes, so he just needs to keep doing what he's doing.
AL will just continue to farm for now. Kind of these plates would be lovely to grab from both sides, but I think it's a difficult play to contest. With these neutrals still about 2 minutes away, I think the Nocturne's going to be more than happy to just farm as much as he can. Shanks has to play safe on the top side of the map. He has no flash available, and when we kind of look at that vision around the top side, he is playing on the weak side of the map. Yeah, good respect from Shanks, but he still takes a chunk of damage. And now he's at real risk of a dive. Good vision coverage, though, from AL to track where Beishuan is on the map. He has been pinged, he has been spotted. And it's going to make that threat of a dive. And now AL looking to contest this Scuttle Crab, helping Tarzan out.
Hope and Kyle the first to move across. Tarzan takes a Mystic shot. It would be a 4v3 right now, but obviously the Realm Warp from Shanks can allow him to join the fight pretty sharpish. True Shot Barrage out, Tarzan lands the Smite. The Winter's Bite on Beishuan. AL were looking for a bit more of a fight, but with Bin coming up, they immediately realize they don't want to take an undermanned battle.
And now for AL, no one's answering Flandra in bot lane, so now you don't want to fight whatsoever. You just back off, make sure that BLG can't find that engage, because minions are being lost by BLG currently. Flandra, though, worried about a potential fight breaking out. He's actually going to TP up towards top, and they are going to bring back Shanks.
And Shanks teleporting top. I think Flandra is finishing his recall, but there's the Paranoia in with the Equalizer to follow up. The Magnus Storm from On's enough, and Hope is down. On underneath the tower will die as well. Will be a 1-for-1 exchange.
A nice collapse from BLG, trading Hope for On, as they get a much-needed pickup onto the AD carry of AL. He was isolated, separated from Kyle. That Braum defense was unavailable for the AD carry. And that meant that BLG were able to get a pick. They'll close the gold gap ever so slightly, but still a 2k gold lead for AL for now.
Yeah, it is a good pick, but they still do give up a fair bit for it. You lose that kill back. You had to drop the wave bot side that Flandra had pushed in first, and Flandra was able to respond to that quite quickly. Shanks did TP out towards top, constantly shoving that wave. This is more the AL that I was kind of expecting coming to this series. Being the ones that get the edge on the map, that are the ones denying minions, pushing in constantly, and really forcing difficult decisions here from BLG, who is kind of more this bloodthirsty team. They are, I think, more that stereotypical LPL team where they are going to play the team fights incredibly well. They're going to show up to the objectives, and they are going to challenge you each and every time. AL is incredible in the 5v5, but they can also just beat you on the map, which I think makes them a much more dynamic and difficult opponent.
And a lot of that comes down to how well they control vision. Like Kyle and Tarzan, the best support jungle duo in the LPL, arguably the best in the world, depending on who you talk to, are just so good at working as a team, at getting some deep vision in, clearing out the vision together as well. It never really feels like one of them is isolated from support.
Both objectives on the map right now, both the Herald and the Dragon. And with the map state as it is, both junglers pathing towards the bot side of the map. The continued fight over that mid-wave control, as the control ward is now the battle. Kyle will push on off. And now, a nice trade from Bin ahead of the Dragon contest. He doesn't have his TP available, does have the ultimate. Shanks has already rotated down. Knight is going to quickly go back to base, buy an upgrade, and has the TP ready to fight. Beishuan with his ultimate is primed and ready to go.
Knight can teleport into the pit. Instead, he decides mid lane. Paranoia out. Tarzan gets the smite. Where are we going with the paranoia? Immediately we jump on towards Flandre. The Beer's going to come out as well, but the Unstoppable Onslaught will block that CC. Flandre running for the hills. Bin trying to chase True Shot Barrage out. Equalizer onto Flandre, gets the slow base one. Flashes forward, as does Bin, and they will bell at the Scion towards this blue buff. AL might want more of a fight though. The Magnus Storm on 3, and in they go between worlds. They're sent. BLG find a massive fight.
Yeah, BLG there, big punish. As Hope was nowhere near the fight, I'm not sure why Tarzan decided to go for the re-engage. They could have just given up Flandre and played for the wave mid, which was exactly what Hope was trying to do. But his team goes for the re-engage. Hope is moving over, but never even gets close to the fight. And BLG coming up with a massive win there, bringing them back to within striking distance.
Potentially a fatal mistake by AL. I felt that BLG was going super deep just to get a single kill onto the Scion because there wasn't really much that they were going to convert off the back of it. But the moment that Tarzan said, you know what, I think we can win this fight, that's where things fell apart. The goal difference now really not that much. Hope still holding on to the difference between the two teams. The Herald's going to be started off. Tarzan's not in a position to contest. Shanks is too far away. His TP is unavailable. And so BLG will get themselves another objective as they pick up the Herald.
And just like that, BLG are very much back into this game. There's still a disparity between Hope and Elk, but we see Base One chasing here. It did seem deep onto the Scion.
Yeah, I mean, the heal will come through from Kael to escort Flandre to safety. The Rumble ultimate kind of cutting off that support from Flandre. They get that initial pick, and at this point, AL thinks, actually, maybe we can turn this around.
But look at the minimap. Look at where your Lucian is. Your Lucian is on mid-wave right now as they're going for this re-engage. You don't really have enough damage there. Your top laner is already down. Shanks tries to get what he can done. But without the Lucian, who is the strongest member on the team, it's going to be a very difficult fight to take, and an ill-advised one to be sure.
Still 1,000 gold lead for anyone's legend. They are still scaling into this game as well. 2 items on the Lucian. Shanks has finished the Rod of Ages on his way towards his Archangels. They're looking to try and crack the first tier 1 of the game. Bin now surpassing Gala for the 7th most all-time international kills at 503. There's the dive in with the paranoia, and Shanks has to walk over a flaming carpet. Can't escape. Bin will take the kill. Base One can look for a little bit more here. Hope not moving from the mid lane. Tarzan should be able to flag and drag his way to safety. Kael might just be able to walk out.
Flandre just ulted topside, so they're scrapping up there as well.
Knight forced low by Flandre, but can just jump across the veil and get to safety.
Nocturne is so good at catching isolated targets, especially a Ryze that has no flash available. Just the moment that ulti is off cooldown. Oh, ulti comes through.
Glacial Fissure onto on. Magnus Storm coming out, but the shield from the Crashdown won't be enough to keep him alive. Teleport in as well by Bin as he tries to burn through Tarzan. The Flame Spitter doing a lot of work, but the Cataclysm combo is just too much. It's carnage for anyone's legend. A bloodbath as Hope claims the Quadra.
Hope reigns eternal for AL. A Quadra kill in the mid lane. Finally finds his moment there as BLG just go that hair too far. Bin TP's in. Kyle tags him with the Winter's Bite, and Hope punishes massively.
And if this is not quintessential AL versus BLG, I do not know if we'll get a better example of how these teams face off.
Really good punish from Kael onto On as he's isolated in the mid lane. But when the TP comes through, BLG is saying, you know what, we do so much damage here, let's go for it. But the Braum passive, again, in conjunction with the Lucian, makes it so easy for Hope to tear them apart. Nice follow through from Tarzan, sets up for the Quadra for Hope.
And that EQ flash is so clean from Tarzan because he goes through for the EQ, delays to get the first knockup, flashes then after the first knockup to get the next one on to Elk. Like, that is just picture perfect. This guy's mechanics are out of this world, and Hope, that culling just destroyed them. As soon as you see the Braum passive proc, he gets the stun, full culling to the face. No shot for Bin there.
And 2 minutes ago we were saying, oh, BLG are back in the game. It's only 1,000 gold between these two teams. The Dragons are even, and now a 3.5K lead for anyone's legend. All of that sitting on Hope.
I mean, you just look at, I keep going back to it, but look at the inventories for the AD carries. It is just so brutal. You're not even close to your second item, and the second item is a cheap one. Then you're looking over here, and it's just, that is tough. And that also means feats have gone over the way of AL, and they were able to grab towers off the back of that did claim the upgraded boots for them. So they are looking really strong at this point You know, you have Shanks on his Archangels fully completed. Now he's going to be a lot harder to burst down as well. And this is kind of the part of the game where I was getting very concerned for BLG's comp, even if they were on more even keel.
So you highlighted the bad news for BLG. The good news is there's only one carry that has all the golds. So if they're able to catch Hope, there may still be hope for BLG. It ultimately will come down to Beishuan's target selection, and if the follow-up is there, forced to flash away early.
Cullen coming out as well. Beishuan should just be able to walk away from this one. Meanwhile, on the top side, the Realm Warp coming out from Shanks as they look to chase down Knight. He'll go between worlds, the weirding as well for the slow for the escape. BLG will walk away after taking that bot tier 1.
And nice play around vision there for Tarzan. Controlling the banana brush, so important when you are trying to approach this dragon. And Knight walks by, Tarzan just pushes him back. Knowing how strong he is in this game, he's on 2 fully completed items. He does not have to be afraid. Goes in, gets that chunks down. And yeah, you traded out the Realm Warp, but Knight's ultimate is much more important in the actual fight. So they're just going to continue to force.
Anyone's Legend could look for the Archon. There's no paranoia up. There's no between worlds. And they're going to start it up. Been there. Does have the equalizer. Obviously, Atakan reducing your magic resist and your armor, the more damage you take from it. Knight has teleport. He's going back to base right now, looking for that second completed item. On stepping forward, has the flash, has the Magnet Storm. AL still on the Atakan right now as Flandre's on the front line, and Flandre is snuffed out. AL now trying to fight a 4v5. BLG can look for more. The smite comes out. It's secured. AL will walk away with the Otacon, but will BLG allow them to escape? Hope the first target as BLG are looking for the light at the end of the tunnel, and that means killing off Hope. The heal will get him to safety, and BLG won't be able to find much more.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, still great there for AL. Yes, they do lose one, but Flandre buys so much time. He just kind of walks forward and creates that space with the zombie form. And as a result, his team does get the Otacon. They're trying to stop the bases, though. This is well done by BLG. They don't want to allow them to reset.
The calling out into the Cataclysm, the Magnet Storm out by On, but now Knight's tanking up the towers, and that's not where he wants to be. AL pounces, BLG are greedy.
BLG once again in this game overstep. We've seen that aggression work wonders for them, but we've also seen them get punished. And once again, in an effort to interrupt AL's return to the base, they are punished once more. They'll even get a tower off the back of it. AL taking full control here in game 2.
I definitely understand the thought process from BLG, because I think they feel that they're falling out of this game, and they're saying, all right, we had Hope low, we got Summoners out. Let's not allow them to base. Let's not allow them to spend this gold. We need to punish now. But Tarzan, his ultimate was perfect, and Knight was trying to hold his spells for Hope, but Hope was just playing on the exact edge of his range, so he never actually allowed him to get in range. And, well, you can't just sit there and use no spells forever. The rest of the team is going to knock you down. So Knight gets isolated, does get knocked down here, and there is the Infinity Edge done now. Just as Ezreal gets 2 items, a full Infinity Edge is the advantage for Hope. Not bad.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of change that Hope is ahead right now. 3,000 gold, his lead, and 3.5k the lead for AL. Next objective, well, Baron's going to spawn in a minute. I don't know if AL will want to force the tempo that much by going for it, but they are on 2 dragons. You can see how far Hope is ahead of everyone else in the game. Beishuan having a good time as a jungler, but still struggling, about 2,000 behind where Hope currently sits.
This mid lane tower being alive also makes it really hard for Beishuan to even threaten to pick onto Hope, because ideally you want long lanes to play through, because Nocturne Ultimate has such a long range. The more space you have to try and leverage that, and the less safety that Hope will have, makes it easier to find that pick. But as long as he has that mid tower and Kyle is standing by his side, he feels extremely safe. So AL is playing with full confidence. They've got good vision coverage. They unlikely will force the Baron. It's very risky to do against an Aurora Rumble. You could just throw the entire game, but they don't necessarily need to overforce. They've got the Dragon spawning in a minute and a half, and they know they're stronger, so I'm sure they'll look to try and fight in the near future.
And I mean, Ocean Soul for this front line that AL has, how are you ever killing the Scion at that point? How are you ever killing the Braum at that point? And I do think these next items coming through are going to be the difficulties that BLG are going to have to deal with. You can see the Verdant Barrier is now in there for Shanks, and I do think we are going to get a defensive item as the 4th for Hope, whether it is, you know, a BT or a GA or something like that. Once those items come through, now all of a sudden, even if you get that perfect engage, maybe you have to kill them twice.
It just becomes so much trickier for BLG. Estimating Smash coming out, but no one's going to step into the path of Flandre's axe as he was looking to bring down some trees. Elka Knight trying to get a little bit of control over this mid lane wave. For BLG, there's always the question is, like, if AL are slightly mispositioned on the map, do you rush the Baron? Is that your way back into the game? Pull them into a fight, use the equalizer, use the paranoia, use your AoE to make it tricky for AL to really approach. On 2 levels down on Kyle on this rel. Knight forced behind here as Tarzan jumps forward. Knight able to go across the veil and escape. On with a flash shadowing strike, but the dash away immediately from Hope as he continues to reign in this game. BLG look for the engage, but they just couldn't find it.
AL have hope and BLG have none. They're going for the Baron here. They're trying to put the nail in the coffin.
And now BLG, perhaps this is the moment. You've got no equalizer. You have the Between Worlds from Knight. No paranoia as AL still stick on the Baron. Flandre on the front line taken down. The Baron jumped off by AL as they look for more of a fight. They'll kill off H1, and now with the jungler dead, they'll turn their eyes back to the big purple worm.
Flandre gives up his life, but he keeps the 2 remaining members of BLG away from the pit, and AL get 2 of their own. The Baron is going to be secured. A desperate TP.
It's been trying to look for a flank position here. No equalizer for him. No smite as well. Obviously, he's just a rumble, and now he's spotted. And the rumble in the jungle doesn't survive for long. AL will gun him down.
AL get themselves another pick, gifted by Bin, and you can feel the desperation from BLG. That engage from On, the idea felt really good. On has so many fast, difficult to react to snap engages on this rel, but Hope reacts. Hope is locked in and on point, and the follow-up, the Rumble ultimate was there, but we didn't see the Nocturne ultimate, we didn't see the Aurora ultimate, and it's the fact that he was able to react so quickly, and he didn't even have to use a summoner spell to do it.
Exactly. The fact that he reacted that quickly also meant most of the equalizer just missed. It's answered by the lock and it's answered by the heal from Gael. They didn't really get much done with that, and now it is Baron, his 6.6k gold lead. It is Ocean Soul point. It is AL on the precipice of pushing us to a match point.
And getting towards those luxury items as well. The Hex Drinker on Hope, you talked about a bit of defense for him. It's just going to make it so much harder for BLG. They're looking with the paranoia. H1 waiting around the Wolf camp, but On is caught down towards the bottom side, and On is suffocated out of the game. BLG thought mid lane was the prio, but AL had other ideas.
AL will continue their siege on the bot lane. They don't have much of a minion wave to play with. The Rumble ultimate and the Ezreal ultimate going to be used to clear out the wave. This will slow AL down, but it will not stop them.
Shanks is a Gatling gun of destruction right now. Being forced away with the overload. There's the Realm Warp to follow up. And Hope will kill his enemy man. It's hunting season, and Elk is on the menu. BLG lose 2 more, as now they have to defend On back up. But AL are pushing in for the win.
And Hope is just destroying them this game. 13-1-3, legendary Lucian performance.
BLG will try and defend. Knight forced away Kai out there with the Unbreakable, and still hitting onto Knight with the Winter's Bite. Decimating smash under the tower. BLG, try as they might, they just can't withstand the storm that's anyone's legend. Now sitting on match points.
A beautiful game from Hope. From the double kill right at the start, only a single death to his name with good positioning and great play. AL lead the series 2-0, and now all the pressure is on BLG.